Hey there, beautiful, and welcome to my channel. My name is Sandra Carmen, and I'm a feminine embodiment guide, speaker, and mentor for women on a path of deep emotional and sensual healing. And today I want to speak to a very specific and very vulnerable part of the emotional relational journey. It is how to stay connected with someone you have shared deep intimacy with without losing yourself again. How to keep your heart online even after a breakup or during a reconnection process without slipping back into an old pattern of attachment. If you're someone who attaches quickly or anxiously, who feels the ache of absence intensely, or is in a post-breakup space where you're still in gentle contact with an ex or former partner, then today's video is perfect for you. There's a space in many relationships, especially after an uncoupling process, where you're no longer officially together, but still you have contact and there's still tenderness and an emotional bond. And in that in-between space, so much can surface. Longing, for example, hope, or old patterns, old fears, and sometimes clarity. But also confusion, and that's okay. The confusion isn't a problem. It's how we meet it that matters. How we meet this uncertainty. It's an opportunity for profound healing, I would say, if we remain anchored in sovereignty. As my teacher Thomas Hübel always says, relating is not the absence of wounds, it's the presence of awareness. So let's start with what often happens first. Our patterns come online. You are not wrong for bringing depth. You are not too much. You are just not being met. And that's a whole different thing. So let's name what is actually going on beneath the surface here in this situation as an example. If you bring vulnerability and presence and emotional honesty, and then they respond with avoidance, disconnection, even if it's dressed as positive vibes, and maybe even spiritual bypassing, then often the truth is most people and this person might have been taught to avoid emotional depth, not because they're trying to be malicious in any way, but they just cannot really show up for the uncomfortable things. And instead of meeting you in the dark where you would actually just need to be seen, they keep it light. And that can feel like a kind of abandonment, because on an emotional level it is. And this hurts. It's not that the other person is evil or doing this on purpose, but because your nervous system just got left alone with something so heavy. You were reaching out, not for advice necessarily, not for answers, just for resonance, for someone to say, oh, I feel you, that sounds really hard. Do you want to share more about your situation? Is there anything I can do? But instead, you got a bypass, wrapped in emojis and angel wings, and your body knows the difference between the two. Let me be clear. This doesn't automatically make someone toxic, abusive, or wrong. Sometimes people just don't have the emotional capacity yet. Maybe they're doing their best, but their best is still not what you need in that moment. And that's okay to admit. You are allowed to outgrow dynamics that don't nourish your truth. And you're allowed to pause and ask, is this someone who can meet me in my depth? Or is this someone I need to keep it light with? You are allowed to remove yourself and find people who have the capacity to see you truly and attune to your needs. This is not done as like a punishment. to kind of leave them to the side, but it's often understood as a kind of protection and self-respect. You're just showing yourself love. And what you can do in this moment is you could say that you're noticing the feeling, that subtle disappointment and the letdown, because it's real, so please validate it, and name the mismatch internally. It's like, oh, I brought truth and they brought shallowness. Now it kind of feels off. And then decide what you want to do next. Maybe you don't respond right away. Maybe you send a softer boundary like, thanks for checking in. Right now, I mostly need space to feel and not to fix. And reach for people who can meet you. Find your people, they're out there. If you don't have them yet, meet yourself, journal, send yourself a voice note, come back to your own resonance. My deeper invitation is, please try to stay vocal and honest about your experience. Don't collapse into silence. And this is a big one. Don't let one mismatched conversation make you question your right to feel deeply. Don't let emotional avoidance in others become self-doubt in you. You are not too much. You are just someone who feels honestly. And that is so beautiful. Please don't ever change. The world needs more of that, not less. So protect it and hold it close. And trust that the people who can meet you there, they do exist. And they feel like home when you find them. IFS, the internal family systems, teaches us that we are not just one self, but a system of parts. And with emotional closeness or a contact with the former partner, when that happens, it's like an anxious inner child comes online, or a longing part, or the protector. And these parts can suddenly take over. You might notice thoughts like, maybe this is a sign we should get back together. Or a thought like, maybe I made a mistake in ending it. I need to hear from them today, or I will spiral. These thoughts are signs that you're not doing something wrong, first of all. They are just speaking and communicating a truth, a wound that happened because of disconnection. And in NARM, Dr. Lawrence Heller, she talks about the survival styles we develop, especially around connection. One of the primary styles of connection seeking is through merging, when we lose ourselves in the other person just to feel safe. So when you notice that ache, the reaching, the wondering if they are the only one who can make you feel okay, please pause, notice that part and ask yourself, is this coming from clarity of my adult self, or is this a younger part of me seeking safety through attachment? And one of the beautiful truths is that once we recognize the part, we can stay in relationship without being run by the part. So what does sovereignty look like in practice? I would say it's not about shutting down love, and it's also not about disappearing into isolation. I think it's about relating without collapsing. There's a phrase I often remind my clients of. I can feel this ache, and I don't need to fill the void. I just want to share, so I'm not hiding. And that phrase alone allows you to breathe into what is. And sovereignty in love means naming your needs without making them ultimatums. Feeling your longing without outsourcing it. Staying in touch without needing constant validation. And it also means being clear about timing and contact rhythm. Let's say you're in gentle contact with a former partner of yours. You are texting or maybe planning a call, but you are not back together. There's warmth, but also uncertainty. And instead of falling back into the pattern of daily texting or romantic intimacy without clarity, you might want to try the following. Conscious contact as an agreement. You could say, would you be open to a weekly check-in call or voice note? Or something like, let's allow for silence and only message each other when it feels authentic. Or if things start to feel blurry, can we please name it? I would say this is not about controlling the connection, but instead protecting your nervous system. Now, when you do speak, either on a call or in a message, bring in open questions that invite mutual reflection and leave the pressure to the side. I often share with clients, and I also use the following myself. Say, what do you think we are both invited to learn here about our love, about relating, about ourselves? Or say something like, if we're not trying to figure it out right now, how do we want to be with each other while we're in this unfolding? Or when you sit with your question, how to be in love, what feels clear for you now and what's still uncertain? And what would make this exploration feel nourishing rather than confusing and depleting? So these are heart-opening, presencing and pressure-free questions. They allow a connection without urgency. So to all of you navigating the in-between space, whether you're post-breakup or in a gentle reconnecting process with someone who still matters to you, please remember, you can be open without losing yourself. You can feel longing without needing it resolved right away. You can also relate from clarity, not collapse. A somatic psychotherapist, Carla McLaren, says, emotions are not problems to be solved, they are messages to be listened to. So please listen to the message underneath your longing, and may you meet yourself and your connections with truth, tenderness, and sovereignty. Thank you so much for being here today. If this supported you, I'd love for you to subscribe to this channel. And if someone needs it, send them a link to this video and comment below what parts of this video landed deeply in you. Until next time, stay soft, stay aware, and stay in your center with your crown on, your heart online, and I'm sending you so much love. Bye.